The stars shone brightly over Earth, as they had for thousands of years. Yet on this night, the beauty of the universe could not hide the fear that spread across the planet. In the Galactic Council's great halls, distant from Earth, leaders whispered and plotted. Humans had grown too fast, too clever, too strong. Their technology, their curiosity, and their ambition worried the Council. "The humans will be a danger to the galaxy," said High Chancellor Velcor, his many eyes glinting with cold calculation. "We cannot wait. We must act before they reach beyond their solar system." Other council members nodded. They agreed. And in that agreement, they decided to erase Earth. On Earth, life continued as normal. Cities glittered at night, machines hummed with activity, and people dreamed of distant worlds. No one suspected the fate that awaited them. Scientists worked on starships and energy sources. Children played in parks, unaware that the universe was about to turn against them. In a hidden command center beneath the Earth's surface, a young woman named Lyra watched the skies. She was a talented engineer and one of the few humans who had begun to detect strange signals from beyond the galaxy. "The Council. Something is coming," she said softly to her colleague, Terran. "It doesn't feel right." Terran shook his head. "You're imagining things. Space is vast. There is nothing out there that can threaten us." But Lyra did not feel calm. The signals were growing stronger, and soon the first Council ships appeared in orbit, massive and dark, blocking the sun. Panic swept across the planet. Governments tried to respond, but their weapons were no match. The Council's fleet was enormous and powerful. It moved with precision and deadly intent. Cities were destroyed in minutes. The oceans boiled, skies burned red, and the ground shook with unimaginable force. Lyra grabbed Terran's hand. "We have to get to the evacuation ships. We have to survive." They raced through crumbling streets, dodging falling debris. The humans who had once ruled Earth with science and courage were now fleeing for their lives. Spaceports were crowded. Ships meant for exploration now carried only desperate souls. Above, the Council's leader, Velcor, watched Earth's destruction with satisfaction. "So fragile," he murmured. "So short-lived. Humanity is finished." But among the chaos, a few humans moved with determination. Among them was a child named Kale, no older than 12. He had watched the Council ships from a distance, his small body trembling, but his mind sharp and alert. Lyra saw him hiding beneath a crumbled wall, clutching a small bag. "Come with us," she said gently. "You can survive. You must." Kyle nodded and followed. That night, as Earth burned, humans escaped in small, secret ships. They fled to the stars, carrying memories of a home that would never exist again. As the survivors left, they saw their planet destroyed. The oceans had turned to steam, the continents cracked and burned, and the cities that once gleamed under the sun were now nothing but rubble. Tears fell freely, but there was no time to mourn. Survival was the only goal. In orbit, Lyra and Terran piloted their ship with Kale beside them. "We will survive," Lyra whispered. "We will not let them erase us completely." Kale's eyes were wide. "But Earth?" Lyra shook her head. "It is gone, but we are still here, and one day we will return." The survivors scattered into the galaxy, hiding in remote systems, far from the reach of the Council. Over the next few years, they settled on distant planets, using their knowledge to adapt and grow. They carried memories, stories, and hopes. And in those stories, the burning of Earth became a lesson. Never trust the galaxy to protect you, and never forget what was lost. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council celebrated their victory. Velcor stood before his peers and declared, "Humanity is finished. Their home is gone and the galaxy is safe from them forever." But the Council had underestimated one thing: the human spirit. Among the survivors were brilliant minds, strong hearts, and fierce wills. Though small in number, they carried the determination to survive and the desire to reclaim their place in the stars. Kale, though just a boy, showed signs of this unbreakable will. He listened to the elders, learned from the engineers and commanders, and watched carefully as the fleet of human ships moved through the stars. He asked questions, absorbed lessons, and never forgot the burning Earth below. Years passed. The survivors built hidden colonies far from the eyes of the Council. They learned to live on harsh planets, to grow food in barren soils, and to build machines that could travel faster than any Council ship. They taught their children about Earth, about the betrayal of the Council, and about the strength humans carried in their hearts. Kyle grew into a young man, tall, strong, and smart. He became a leader among the survivors, respected for his courage and vision. "We will not wait for the Council to come to us," he told the people one day. "We will prepare. We will survive. And one day, we will show the galaxy that humanity cannot be destroyed." The survivors agreed. They worked in secret, building ships, weapons, and technologies far beyond anything the Council had ever imagined. Their colonies became hidden fortresses. Their scientists developed new ways to harness energy, and their pilots trained for years in tactics and strategy. Though 3,000 years would pass before they would strike, the foundations of humanity's return were laid on that night when Earth burned. Kyle, now remembered in stories as the boy who survived the fall of the planet, became a symbol of hope and resilience. In the hidden corners of the galaxy, humans whispered among themselves, "We will return. They will see. They will learn that the human spirit cannot be erased." And so, the first part of humanity's story ended in sorrow, but it planted the seeds of something greater. From the ashes of Earth, a new generation of humans would rise. They would not forget the Council's betrayal. They would not forgive easily. And when the time came, they would strike back with a force the galaxy could never expect. For now, the survivors moved silently among the stars, hiding in plain sight, growing stronger and carrying the memory of a lost home. The Council believed they had finished humanity, but they had only delayed what was inevitable. The fire that had destroyed Earth had also ignited a flame that would burn for millennia, a flame of vengeance, resilience, and hope. And one day, humanity would return, not as the weak planet dwellers the Council once feared, but as a force the galaxy could not ignore. Kale looked out from the observation deck of a hidden colony ship, the stars reflecting in his eyes. "One day," he whispered, "we will come back, and they will remember us." Lyra, standing beside him, placed a hand on his shoulder. "We will come back, and we will show them what it means to be human." The galaxy was vast, and the Council believed it was safe. But humanity had learned a lesson the hard way. You cannot erase an idea, a people, or a will to survive. And from the ruins of Earth, humanity's story had only just begun. After the destruction of Earth, humanity scattered across the galaxy. The survivors carried only what they could save: memories, knowledge, and the determination to live. From small hidden colonies, they began to grow again, far from the eyes of the Galactic Council. The galaxy was vast, and humans learned to use that vastness to their advantage. Kale, now a young man, had become a leader among the survivors. His courage and intelligence inspired others. He often walked among the people of their hidden colony on the planet Lyra 7, a cold world with harsh winds and rocky plains. Despite the planet's difficulties, humans had built cities underground and domed habitats on the surface. Life was not easy, but it was safe. "We must not forget the past," Kyle said to the Council of Elders one evening. "We survived because we planned, because we learned. But survival is not enough. We must prepare for the day we return." The elders nodded. Many remembered Earth, its beauty, its cities, and the lives lost. They had told the stories countless times to their children and grandchildren. Now those stories fueled a determination that burned brighter than ever. Life on Lyra 7 was harsh, but it strengthened humans. They learned to grow food in rocky soil, to purify water, and to build machines that could withstand the planet's storms. Engineers and scientists worked tirelessly, designing faster starships, stronger defenses, and advanced weapons. Kyle often visited the engineering halls, observing young minds at work. One of them, a girl named Mira, had a gift for machines that rivaled any engineer in human history. She could look at a broken engine and immediately understand how it worked, how to fix it, and how to make it better. Why do we keep improving these ships? Mira asked him one day. The council cannot find us here, Kale smiled. Because one day we will leave this hiding place. One day we will go back. And when we do, we must be ready. The children of Lyra 7 grew up hearing the stories of Earth and the betrayal of the Galactic Council. They trained in ways that no human of the old Earth had imagined. They practiced flying starships, studied tactics and strategy, and learned the secrets of advanced technology. By the time they were adults, they were ready to lead fleets, defend colonies, and reclaim what was lost. Time passed, centuries stretched into millennia, and humans spread quietly to distant star systems. They formed secret networks of colonies, each supporting the others. Their science advanced faster than the Council could guess. Humans learned to harness energy from stars, to build ships capable of traveling vast distances quickly, and to develop artificial intelligence that could think like a human commander. During these hidden centuries, Kale's legacy lived on. The child who had survived Earth's destruction became a symbol for generations. Leaders, teachers, and engineers all spoke of him as a reminder. Survival alone was not enough. Preparation was the key to victory. On one particularly cold night on Lyra 7, a group of scouts returned from the outer systems. They had been observing the edge of the galaxy, watching the Council's fleets and movements. They are still strong, said one scout. They do not know we are here, but they remain vigilant. They patrol many systems. Kyle, now appearing older but still commanding, nodded. Good. We must respect their power, but we must not fear it. We have waited long enough. Soon the time will come to strike. The scouts shared maps of Council territories, star systems, and fleet movements. The information was stored in secure databases, accessible only to the leaders. Humans had learned patience. They knew that rushing into a battle before they were ready could be disastrous. They had seen the power of the Council firsthand, and they remembered it. In hidden classrooms and training halls, children of human colonies learned to think like strategists. They studied battle tactics, leadership, and the strengths and weaknesses of different alien species. They trained with simulation ships that mimicked Council warships. Every lesson, every exercise was designed for one purpose: the eventual return of humanity to the galaxy. On the planet Kylum 9, another colony, scientists experimented with weapons technology. They designed energy shields stronger than any Council armor, and engines that could outrun the fastest ships in the galaxy. Their work was meticulous. Every detail mattered. Mistakes could mean the failure of the human plan. Among the scientists, a young man named Joran had a vision. We cannot only match the Council, he said. We must surpass them. We must create ships and weapons that even they cannot imagine. The elders agreed. Then let it be so, they said. Humanity will rise not just to survive, but to dominate. Not for power alone, but to show the galaxy that we cannot be destroyed. Over time, the human colonies developed unique cultures. Each planet had its traditions, but all shared a common goal: preparation for the return. Art, music, and stories all carried messages of courage, resilience, and unity. Humans had learned that strength was not just in machines and weapons, but in their spirit, their community, and their will to survive. In these centuries, humans also made allies among other species. Some alien races had suffered under the Council's rule. They recognized the determination and fairness of humans. These allies provided intelligence, resources, and guidance, though the humans were careful never to fully reveal the scale of their power. One day, a young scout named Lyra returned from a long mission near the Council's territory. Her ship had barely escaped a patrol fleet. She reported to the leaders, "The Council is not aware of us. They are still arrogant, still confident, but their fleets are growing stronger. We must act carefully." Kale, now elderly but sharp as ever, studied the reports. "Then we wait a little longer," he said. "We will strike only when the time is perfect. We will not give them a chance to recover. Preparation is our greatest weapon." Centuries turned into millennia. Humans thrived in secret, building fleets, training pilots, and perfecting technology. Children born long after Earth's fall grew up knowing only of a galaxy ruled by the Council. But they also knew that one day humans would return. In hidden starships, advanced AI systems helped train pilots, engineers, and commanders. Humans learned to coordinate massive fleets across vast distances, using strategies that no other species could anticipate. Every generation added knowledge, intelligence, and strength to the plan. Through it all, The story of Kale and the fall of Earth remained central. Elders reminded the young humans that the Council had believed them finished, but they had only delayed the inevitable. Humanity was patient, clever, and unstoppable when united. Finally, after 3,000 years, a signal reached the hidden colonies. Scouts detected the outermost systems of the Galactic Council. They had grown complacent just as humans had anticipated. "The time approaches," Lyra whispered to her commander. Kale's descendants, the leaders of this new human era, prepared for the first strike. Fleets were readied, weapons checked, and strategies rehearsed. Years of patience and planning were about to be put into action. In secret halls, young pilots strapped into their ships, confident and eager. Engineers monitored energy flows, shields, and engines. Every human in the colonies knew their role. From hidden worlds to advanced fleets, the galaxy's most powerful secret was about to reveal itself. Humanity had survived, and humanity was ready. Kale's words, remembered across millennia, echoed in every mind: "We will not forget. We will not forgive, but we will return, and when we do, the galaxy will learn what it means to face humans." The hidden centuries had forged humanity into something more than survivors. They were strategists, scientists, warriors, and leaders. They were a force the galaxy could not imagine. And in the dark of space, in secret colonies scattered across the stars, humans waited, watched, and prepared. When the first strike came, it would not be a simple attack. It would be a demonstration of everything humanity had learned over 3,000 years. The Galactic Council had believed Earth's destruction was the end. They had no idea that the seeds of humanity's return had already been planted and were about to bloom across the galaxy. And so, humanity waited, silent, patient, stronger than ever. The Council ruled the galaxy, unaware that the greatest threat they had ever faced was no longer a planet to destroy, but a civilization that had learned, grown, and prepared for revenge. The galaxy had forgotten Earth, but humans had not, and soon, the stars themselves would witness the return of humanity. The hidden colonies of humanity were alive with preparation. Fleets of starships, sleek and powerful, glimmered beneath the artificial suns of domed hangars. For 3,000 years, humans had waited, trained, and grown stronger. Now the time for patience had ended. The first strike against the Galactic Council was about to begin. In the command center of the largest human fleet, Commander Kalen, a direct descendant of the legendary Kale, studied the holographic map of Council territory. Thousands of Council-controlled star systems stretched across the display, each one heavily fortified. Yet the humans had learned every weakness, every routine, and every pattern over centuries of careful observation. "Report," Kalen said to his chief officer. "Mira." Her fingers danced across the controls, highlighting weak points in the enemy's patrol routes. "The patrols are light here," Mira replied, pointing to a small cluster of systems on the outer edge. "They believe this region is safe. Only a few frigates and surveillance drones. We can strike without being detected," Kalen nodded. "Good, this will be our test. Small but decisive. We make them notice us, but we do not reveal our full strength." Across the fleet, pilots prepared their ships. Young and old, every human had trained for this moment. Ships hummed with energy, shields charged, and weapon systems aligned. Artificial intelligence co-pilots checked calculations, predicted enemy movements, and optimized flight paths. Every detail mattered. In one small hangar, a young pilot named Rena adjusted her helmet. Her ship, sleek and fast, was designed to strike and vanish. "This is it," she whispered to herself. "The moment we've trained for all our lives." Kalen walked among the pilots, offering encouragement. "Remember," he said, "our strength is in our courage, our skill, and our unity. The Council believes we are weak. We will show them they are wrong." The human fleet jumped into faster-than-light travel, leaving their hidden colonies behind. Stars streaked past as they approached the outer edge of Council space. When they emerged from the jump, the Council's patrols were exactly where the scouts had predicted. "Engage stealth mode," Kalen ordered. "We appear only where we want. Let them see nothing until it is too late." The first attack was swift. Small human ships infiltrated the Council outposts, disabling communications and taking control of key systems. The Council officers on these stations were shocked. Their sensors had detected no fleet approaching. In minutes, human forces had neutralized entire outposts without suffering a single casualty. In the command room of a Council cruiser, Commander Velkor's descendant, High Admiral Solon, stared at the alert screens in disbelief. Impossible, he shouted. Our sensors. There is no fleet. How did they reach us? Meanwhile, Kalen's fleet moved like shadows. They struck fast, leaving only the wreckage of enemy ships and disabled stations in their wake. Broadcast the message, Kalen commanded. A transmission traveled across Council space. Earth may be gone, but humanity survived. We return, and we will not be ignored. The message spread quickly, reaching not only the Council but also neighboring systems. Some Council worlds were confused, some fearful. Few understood the scale of what was happening. The Council called an emergency war meeting. Solon spoke, his voice tight with anger. These humans, they are stronger than we expected. They cannot be ordinary survivors. They are organized, prepared, and dangerous. We underestimated them, and it may cost us dearly. Back in human space, Kalen observed the reactions. Good, he said. Fear is the first step. Now we press forward, but carefully. One mistake and the Council could bring its full power against us. The next phase of the strike involved a larger target, a Council mining station that produced critical energy cores for their fleet. The humans approached silently, hiding behind asteroids and using advanced stealth technology. Pilots moved with precision, disabling the station's defenses without alerting reinforcements. Rena's ship led the attack, using small energy pulses to disrupt shields and create openings for the fleet. All systems ready, she called. We move on my mark. Kalen gave the order and the fleet struck. Explosions lit the dark space around the station, and the humans quickly captured its control center. Council engineers were taken prisoner, and the energy cores were redirected to human-controlled space. As the humans returned to their hidden colonies with their first victories, they celebrated quietly. It was not a time for pride but for focus. They had tested their strength, confirmed their strategy, and shown the Council that humanity had returned. However, the Council was not idle. They dispatched their fastest cruisers to investigate the disruptions. But the human fleet had already vanished, leaving no trace behind. They are ghosts, one Council officer muttered. We cannot touch them. Kalen studied the reports. They will come, he said. And when they do, we must be ready to show them the full power of humanity. Even among their victories, the humans knew the war had only begun. Every battle would teach them more about the Council's strategies, strengths, and weaknesses. Every victory strengthened their resolve. Every small strike spread their legend across the galaxy. The first strike also inspired other species. Some who had suffered under the Council's rule began to quietly support humans, sending intelligence, resources, and minor fleets. They were inspired not only by humanity's skill but by their courage and unity. In the shadows of the galaxy, alliances began to form. Kalen called his officers together. We have struck first, and the Council knows we exist, he said. Now we must plan for the larger war. Our fleets must be ready to move across multiple systems. Our people must be ready to fight for freedom, for revenge, and for justice. Mira, analyzing data from the first strikes, added, The Council is divided. Some want to attack immediately. Others want to retreat and build defenses. We can use this to our advantage. Patience and timing will be our greatest weapons. In the Council capital, panic began to spread. Solon realized the humans were not only strong but also intelligent beyond measure. They have studied us, he said bitterly. They know our tactics, our weaknesses, and our patterns. This is no ordinary species. They are dangerous beyond imagination. The humans, meanwhile, returned to their hidden colonies, repairing ships, gathering resources, and preparing for the next wave of strikes. Each success brought them closer to their ultimate goal, to confront the Council itself and reclaim humanity's place in the galaxy. Among the young pilots, the excitement was tempered by caution. We cannot let pride blind us, Kalen reminded them. The Council has power we cannot ignore. Every battle must be calculated, every move precise. But we have the advantage of planning, intelligence, and unity. That is something the Council has forgotten. Over the next weeks, humans continued their small strikes. They captured supply routes, liberated enslaved colonies, and spread messages of hope and warning across Council space. We survived, one broadcast read. We are back, and we will not be ignored. Each strike was carefully measured, leaving the Council uncertain and fearful. They did not know the size of humanity's fleets, the strength of their technology, or the skill of their commanders. They had destroyed Earth, thinking humans would vanish forever. But now they realized that the species they had underestimated had returned. Kalen stood on the command deck of the flagship, watching the stars streak past. "This is only the beginning," he said softly. "The galaxy will see what humans can achieve when we fight not for survival alone, but for justice, for freedom, and for the memory of what was lost." And in the shadows of the galaxy, the first strike of humanity had already begun to rewrite history. The Council had underestimated them. The galaxy had forgotten them. But humans had not forgotten, and they would not rest until the Council understood the true power of an unbroken, determined species. The first strike had been small, strategic, and decisive. But it was only a glimpse of what was to come. Humanity had returned, not as a weak planet, but as a force that the galaxy could no longer ignore. The stars themselves seemed to recognize the change. In the dark of space, human ships moved with purpose, each one carrying the courage, skill, and determination of generations. And somewhere, deep in the hearts of all humans, the memory of Earth burned brighter than ever, guiding them toward a future where they would reclaim their place in the galaxy. The Galactic Council had thought the humans were finished. They had only begun to awaken a storm. The human fleets had moved beyond the first strikes. Now, the war against the Galactic Council spread across the stars. Humanity, once thought destroyed, now dominated the edge of Council space with strategy, skill, and courage. The Council had underestimated them, and the consequences were severe. Commander Kalen stood on the bridge of the flagship Aurora. Outside the viewports, hundreds of human ships glinted against the backdrop of distant stars. "The Council's defenses are scattered," Kalen said, pointing to the holographic display. "Some systems are strong, but many are weak. We strike where they least expect it, and we liberate the oppressed while we fight." Mira, analyzing intelligence data, nodded. "The Council fleets are reacting slowly. They still believe we are a small, scattered group. They have no idea how large and organized we have become." Kalen turned to the young pilots and engineers gathered on the bridge. "Remember this. Each system we save, each colony we free is a step toward justice for Earth. We fight not only for ourselves, but for all who have suffered under the Council's rule. Move carefully, strike decisively, and above all, do not underestimate your enemies." The first target of the day was a resource-rich planet that supplied Council fleets with fuel and minerals. Humans approached silently, hiding behind asteroid fields and using advanced stealth technology. The Council's defenses were moderate, enough to repel an ordinary attack, but not enough to withstand human tactics. Rena, leading the attack squadron, guided her fleet through narrow corridors of space. "We move fast, we hit hard, and we vanish," she said. "No Council fleet will see us coming." In minutes, human ships disabled communication arrays and energy shields. They captured strategic points on the planet, liberating enslaved workers and scientists who had been forced to serve the Council. Many of the freed citizens joined the humans immediately, inspired by their courage and skill. "This is incredible," said one liberated engineer. "You came out of nowhere and defeated the Council forces." "I thought humanity was finished," Kalen smiled. "We survived, and now we fight for freedom. The Council should have known that you cannot erase an idea, a people, or a will to survive." Meanwhile, the Galactic Council scrambled to respond. High Admiral Solon was furious. "These humans are not just survivors," he shouted at his officers. "They are intelligent, fast, and organized. Every strike they make exposes our weaknesses. We must adapt or we will lose more systems every day." But the Council was slow to act. Their fleets were scattered across the galaxy, their leadership divided, and fear had begun to spread among their allies. Some Council worlds whispered of rebellion, inspired by humanity's success. Back on human ships, Kalen's fleet prepared for the next attack. "We do not fight blindly," he said. "We strike where it counts, protect our people, and show the galaxy that humanity is a force to be reckoned with." The next mission took the humans into heavily defended space, where Council warships patrolled in numbers that should have overwhelmed any fleet. But humans had learned to think differently. They used tactics that other species would never consider, dividing fleets into small, fast-moving units using stealth fields to avoid detection, and predicting enemy movements with advanced AI systems. In one intense battle, human pilots engaged a Council cruiser twice their size. The larger ship fired its energy cannons, expecting an easy victory. But human pilots moved in perfect formation, dodging attacks while targeting weak points in the enemy's armor. Within minutes, the cruiser was disabled and its crew captured. Kalen observed the battle on the bridge. "Excellent work," he said. "The Council underestimates humans at their peril. They may have ruled the galaxy for millennia, but they have never faced a people who fight not only with skill but with heart." Every victory strengthened the humans. News of their successes spread across Council space. Colonies that had suffered under the Council began to secretly support humanity, providing intelligence, shelter, and supplies. Humans were no longer just survivors. They were leaders, symbols of hope and courage. In the Council capital, panic had grown. Solon struggled to maintain control. "We cannot contain them," he said. "Our fleets are strong, but the humans are everywhere. They are fast, clever, and organized, and every battle they fight inspires others to rise against us." Humans continued to strike strategically. They liberated mining colonies, resource stations, and transportation hubs. Each victory disrupted the Council's operations, forcing them to defend multiple fronts simultaneously. One particularly daring mission involved a Council transport fleet carrying thousands of enslaved citizens. Human ships intercepted the convoy in a dangerous asteroid belt. Using superior tactics and advanced technology, they disabled the Council escorts and freed the captives. The rescued citizens cheered, grateful for their liberation, and many pledged loyalty to humanity's cause. Kalen watched the operation from the flagship's bridge. "Every life we save, every system we protect brings us closer to justice. The Council has underestimated humanity for too long. Their arrogance will be their downfall." But the humans were careful. Every strike was calculated, every move deliberate. They knew that reckless actions could expose weaknesses and give the Council an opportunity to strike back. Strategy and intelligence guided every decision. In one hidden command center, Mira analyzed intelligence reports. "The Council is trying to regroup," she said. "They are building new fleets, moving resources, and reinforcing key systems. But we know their patterns and we can predict their moves." Kalen nodded. "Good. Let them chase shadows. We control the flow of the war. Patience and preparation will lead to victory." Despite the intensity of battle, humans maintained their sense of morality. They avoided unnecessary destruction, focused on freeing oppressed colonies, and spared civilians wherever possible. Their actions inspired admiration across the galaxy. In one small system, a human diplomat addressed the liberated citizens. "We fight not only to reclaim our home but to ensure that no species suffers in silence again. Humanity remembers what it is to be oppressed, and we will not repeat the mistakes of the Council." As the war continued, humans discovered more evidence of the Council's past treachery. Hidden archives revealed detailed plans for Earth's destruction, the exact methods used to erase the planet, and the Council's underestimation of human resilience. Kalen studied the records carefully. "They believe they finished us," he said. "They did not realize that the spirit of humanity cannot be destroyed. Every life, every mind, every memory of Earth lives on, and now we return." The war spread across multiple systems. Humans, though smaller in number than the Council, used strategy, speed, and ingenuity to dominate battles. Council fleets, though powerful, were slow to adapt. They were organized for conquest, not for facing a species that had learned patience, intelligence, and teamwork over 3,000 years. Every success brought humans closer to the heart of the Council. Every liberated system increased their resources, strengthened their fleets, and boosted morale. They were no longer just survivors. They were a growing force capable of challenging the galaxy's most powerful rulers. Kalen addressed the fleet one evening. "The Council believed Earth's destruction would end us. They were wrong. We have grown, we have learned, and we have prepared. This war is not only for revenge, it is for justice. Every system we save, every colony we liberate, is a step toward reclaiming our place in the galaxy." The pilots cheered, their spirits high. Engineers and commanders worked tirelessly to repair ships, upgrade weapons, and optimize defenses. Humanity's determination burned brighter than ever, guiding every action. In the Council capital, fear spread among leaders. Solon realized that the humans were not just a threat, they were an inspiration. "They are everywhere," he said. "They fight not for conquest but for survival, justice, and freedom. Our reign may not last." Humans continued to advance, coordinating attacks across multiple star systems, The Council struggled to respond, their fleet stretched thin and their leadership divided. Every battle, every strategy, every liberated colony strengthened humanity's position in the galaxy. The Galactic War had begun in earnest. Humans once thought extinct were now a growing, unstoppable force. They fought with courage, intelligence, and unity, inspiring allies and striking fear into the hearts of the Council. Kalen watched the stars outside the flagship's viewports, thinking of Earth. "They may have erased our home, but they could not erase us," he whispered. "The Council will learn that humans cannot be destroyed. We fight not only for ourselves, but for the memory of what was lost and the hope of what will come." And across the galaxy, humanity's legend grew. The oppressed found hope, the Council found fear, and humans, finally free from hiding, moved ever closer to reclaiming their place among the stars. The war was far from over, but one thing was clear: humanity had returned, stronger and wiser than ever. And the Council, which had once destroyed Earth without mercy, would soon face the full power of a species that had survived, learned, and prepared for millennia. The galaxy would never forget the rise of humanity. The heart of the Galactic Council's capital system stretched before humanity's fleets like a fortress of steel and light. Millions of lights blinked across the sprawling orbital stations. Massive starships patrolled the skies, and energy shields glimmered with a power the humans had studied for centuries. This was the final challenge, the decisive moment. Humanity would strike at the center of the Council that had destroyed Earth 3,000 years ago. Commander Kalen stood on the bridge of the flagship Aurora, overlooking the assembly of human ships. Thousands of vessels, each representing centuries of preparation, hovered in silent readiness. Pilots, engineers, and strategists worked in perfect coordination, their minds focused, their hearts steadfast. "We've come far," Kalen said to Mira, who stood beside him. "Every system we liberated, every fleet we destroyed brought us here. Now it is time to finish what began so long ago." Mira nodded, her eyes scanning the holographic map of the Council capital. "The defenses are strong, but we know them. Every shield generator, every patrol route, every weak point has been studied for decades. Our time is now." Kalen turned to address the assembled officers and pilots. The Council believed humanity was gone. They destroyed our home and thought our spirit was broken. They were wrong. We survived. We grew stronger. And today the galaxy will see what it means to underestimate humans. The fleet moved in formation, entering the outer reaches of the capital system. They used stealth technology to evade initial detection, slipping past patrols and sensor arrays with precision. Humans had become masters of strategy, speed, and surprise. Inside the Council command tower, High Admiral Solon stared at his screens, his multiple eyes widening in disbelief. "They are here. They are attacking the capital system itself," he shouted. "Scramble all fleets. Defend the heart of the Council." But humanity's strategy was already in motion. Kalen had divided the fleet into multiple squadrons, each with a specific target: orbital defense stations, energy generators, communication hubs, and Council warships. Every move was synchronized, every strike planned to maximize disruption and minimize human losses. Rena led the first squadron, striking at an orbital defense station. Energy beams lanced through the darkness of space, disabling shields and breaking through armor. Within minutes, the station was under human control. Pilots maneuvered with skill and courage, using every tactic they had learned over 3,000 years. Another human squadron disabled the system's energy generators, cutting power to the Council's fleets and forcing many ships to retreat. Engineers and AI co-pilots worked together to exploit weaknesses, turning the Council's own defenses against them. "Every station we capture," Kalen said, "weakens the Council's control. Every victory inspires hope in the oppressed. We fight not only for revenge, but for justice and freedom." High Admiral Solon realized the magnitude of the attack. "These humans, they are not just strong, they are unstoppable," he muttered. "Every move they make is calculated. Every strike is deadly." The human fleet pressed forward, liberating colonies within the capital system. Thousands of enslaved citizens were freed and quickly joined the human forces, strengthening the fleet and providing vital intelligence. Humanity's reputation spread like wildfire across the galaxy. The oppressed whispered their gratitude, and even some Council-aligned species began to question their loyalty. Kalen's flagship moved toward the central command station of the Council. The massive energy shield surrounding it blazed with power, but the humans had prepared for this. Advanced disruptors designed over centuries weakened the shields. Human ships attacked in waves, exploiting openings with precision. Inside the command tower, Solon realized that defeat was inevitable. "We cannot hold them," he shouted. "They have learned everything about us. We underestimated humans, and it is our undoing." Kalen ordered the final strike. Human ships concentrated fire on the Council's central command station, breaking through shields and disabling defenses. Explosions lit the skies as the station's control systems collapsed. Humanity had reached the heart of the Council. Kalen, stepping onto the observation deck, watched the chaos unfold. "This is what it means to survive," he whispered. "This is what it means to fight for justice." The Council thought they could erase us. They were wrong. The Council leaders, faced with the human fleet and the loss of their capital station, pleaded for mercy. "We did what we thought was necessary," Solon said, desperation in his voice. "We did not know humans would return with such power. We yield." Kalen's voice echoed across the communication networks. "Your arrogance destroyed Earth and countless lives. You believed humanity could be erased. You were wrong. Today the galaxy will witness the consequences of betrayal and the strength of a people who refuse to be broken. Humans took control of the capital system, securing it without unnecessary destruction. The defeated Council fleets were disarmed and enslaved citizens were freed. Humanity's approach was measured and strategic. They were strong, but they were also just. The message was clear. Humanity fought for survival, justice, and freedom, not mindless revenge. In the aftermath, human leaders addressed the galaxy. "We are not here to conquer," Kalen said. "We are here to restore balance, to protect the oppressed, and to ensure that no species suffers as Earth once did. Humanity remembers the past, but we also look to the future. Together we will build a galaxy where strength is used wisely, and justice is upheld." Allies who had supported humans from the shadows now revealed themselves. Formerly oppressed species joined humanity, pledging loyalty and assistance. The Galactic Council, once powerful and feared, was humbled. Its arrogance, cruelty, and underestimation of humans had led to its downfall. Kalen and Mira walked among the liberated citizens. "We have done what we came to do," Mira said. "Earth's destruction was avenged, and humanity has shown the galaxy our true strength." Kalen looked up at the stars. "This is only the beginning. We will rebuild, not just for ourselves, but for all who were oppressed. Humanity's place in the galaxy is secure, not through fear, but through courage, unity, and wisdom." The galaxy began to change. Former Council worlds, inspired by humans, began to reform. Systems once enslaved or oppressed saw new leadership, guided by principles of fairness and justice. Humanity's return had not only avenged Earth, but it had also sparked a new era for countless species. Kalen stood on the bridge of the Aurora, looking at the stars. "We survived what the Council could not imagine. We grew stronger when they thought us gone. And now the galaxy remembers humanity. Earth may be gone, but its memory lives in us, and we will never forget, never yield, and never be broken again." Rena, Mira, and the other leaders watched with pride. Humans had reclaimed their place in the galaxy, not through brute force alone, but through intelligence, preparation, and the courage to survive against impossible odds. The first strike had tested them, the war had proven them, and the final victory had cemented their legacy. Humanity, once destroyed, now stood at the center of the galaxy, respected, feared, and admired. The story of Earth's destruction, once a tale of sorrow, had transformed into a legend of triumph. Kalen turned to his officers one last time. "Remember this moment. Remember what we fought for. And remember that humanity's spirit cannot be broken. We have avenged the past, secured the present, and ensured a future where no one can erase us again." And across the galaxy, the stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, reflecting the rise of a species that had faced destruction, survived in secret, and returned stronger than anyone could have imagined. Humanity had come back not only for revenge, but for redemption, justice, and a place among the stars that no force could take away. The Galactic Council was no more. Humanity was free, powerful, and united, and in the hearts of every human the memory of Earth burned brightly, guiding them toward a future full of hope, courage, and endless possibilities. The galaxy would never forget.